So contrary to belief, homes in San Diego right now are taking a lot longer to sell. And as I record this video, we have about 4,500 homes for sale in San Diego, which is equivalent to about 2.2 months supply of inventory. Now, this is some of the highest inventory we've seen since about mid 2020. So in this video, I'm actually gonna break down 5 reasons on why specific homes are just taking a lot longer to sell. So I'm not here to call out any specific sellers or agents or anything like that. I'm just simply going to be giving my personal opinion as an individual who is very data driven and constantly helping buyers and sellers here in San Diego. Let's dive into it. By the way, my name is Nick and you guys are reaching out all the time and we love helping you out. So if you're thinking about making a move in or around San Diego, just shoot us a text, shoot us an email, or just straight up give us a call so we can save a ton of time and help you accomplish your real estate goals here in San Diego. Now, generally speaking, for the past few years, our month supply of inventory has been right around 1 to 1.5 months. Now, that is extremely low. It's actually pretty unhealthy low, and that's why we've seen our home prices here in San Diego just skyrocket over the past few years. And if you're not too familiar with month supply of inventory, basically what it means is if we had 3 months supply of inventory right now and we had no more homes listed for sale, we would be completely sold out in 3 months. So despite there being inventory levels rising right now and a lot of homes are just sitting on the market for a lot longer, there are certain pockets and certain homes that are still selling extremely fast. But let's go ahead and get into the reasons why your home is probably not selling. Number one, and hands down the most obvious reason it's not selling, is because it is overpriced. And look, I'm not saying that the house isn't great. I'm not saying that the house doesn't have the best view on the entire block. Basically what's happening is the buyers just simply don't agree with your asking price. And I know, hands down, for a fact, if your home isn't pending within 12 to 14 days of going on the market, it is most likely just the pricing. That's usually what it is, because let me tell you, the really motivated buyers are looking at houses the very next day it's listed. They're hitting us up and saying, Nick, we love this house. We want to check that one out. They've been waiting for months or weeks or whatever it is to go find a house. You're gonna have your buyer usually within that first weekend, especially here in San Diego. So if you're seeing homes in or around your neighborhood go pending within about a week, maybe 2 weeks, or maybe you're getting showings and you're not getting any offers, then it is very likely that the buyers out there shopping, they just don't agree with your asking price. Now, yes, of course, you can wait around to hopefully get that higher price, and it could happen, but I really only think it's gonna happen if 2 things happen in the market. And that's one, if inventory levels suddenly drop, leaving you with less seller competition, or if interest rates drop. Now, if interest rates drop, then guess what? The buyers are gonna have more purchasing power so they can pay that higher price. But if those things don't happen, then you're just gonna sit around and you are gonna have something called a stale listing. This is where it's old product and people simply seem to think there's something wrong with it. I get these emails and texts and calls all the time where people are like, Nick, this house has been on the market for a month. What's wrong with it? And I go to look at it, like not physically, but go look at the listing. And it's usually in a perfectly good neighborhood. It's not in any, conspicuous area next to a main road. It's just the price. That's usually what it is. The next reason is it's tenant occupied. Now, sometimes there's people out there that have to sell while the tenant is still living in the home, and that's totally fine. But statistically, homes that are tenant occupied take a lot longer to sell, and they actually sell for a lower price. And I don't know what the stigma is, but I hear this from a lot of buyers, in that if it was a rental home or there's still a tenant living in the house, they're kind of deterred from it because they just feel like it doesn't have the love and care that an owner-occupied home had. And there's also other scenarios that come with a tenant-occupied property that a lot of buyers don't want to deal with. Sometimes they're on a month-to-month lease still. Sometimes the lease agreement isn't up for another year or 6 months. So the buyer technically has to inherit that and be okay with some of that stuff before they actually buy the house. But if you are a buyer looking to possibly buy a tenant occupied property, just know that you do have more leverage because again, these homes sit on the market for longer, so you're probably able to get a better price on it if the timing works for you. And don't forget, as much as we love making these videos for you guys, we love helping you with your real estate needs just a little bit more, and we would love to be a real estate resource for you here in San Diego. So if you have any questions, all of our information is right there down below. The next reason is not being flexible with showings. And this one is crucial. And even going back to tenant occupied properties, tenants legally need a 24-hour notice. So the flexibility is just not there as if it was a vacant house. Vacant homes statistically sell for the fastest and the most amount of money because people can go in and out when they please on the buyer's time. And I'm seeing this so much lately that there's certain showing times. It's usually on the windows, which is fine with a lot of buyers, but there's a lot of buyers out there who want to get out there during the weekdays, whether it's during work hours or after. And if the seller's saying, hey, no showings till 5 to 7 p.m. at night, they're going to lose out on such a wide buyer pool. And I just have been seeing this so much. So I would just personally say, if you can't be flexible with your showings, then you might as well not list until you're able to be very flexible or even move on to your next house. That way it's vacant. That is going to create just a lot better of a price for the seller. Reason number 4 it's not selling is because it's not staged or decluttered. This one is huge, and I think it's very overlooked, especially in the market that we've had for the past few years where things were just flying off the shelf. It didn't matter condition, it didn't matter what the inside looked like, it just didn't matter. Nowadays, we have to dress to impress, especially to the buyers out there, because first impressions are everything. And staging, when you're just, putting $2,000, $3,000, $1,000 into staging, this goes so far. I've seen it pay back people tenfold, whether it's $25,000, $50,000, $100,000 over asking price, all because of the staging. Yes, this really does a huge matter to it. And sometimes these homes don't even need to be fully staged. A lot of people out there have some really good taste with their furniture, their style, all that stuff. So sometimes you just need a little bit of a declutter to kind of take out that personal touch to it. You want to take that out so the buyers can really walk into the house and envision what it's going to be like for them. Because a lot of these homes, especially when they are vacant and there is no furniture, no nothing, it's really hard for buyers to envision, okay, I'm going to put the TV there, the couch is going to go over here, dining room's over there. Sometimes it's really hard to kind of paint that picture. And I've been sitting in houses for not sitting, but standing in houses with no furniture for 30 minutes with buyers trying to figure out where we're going to put the couch. The TV's going to go over here. We can't figure it out. So when the staging's done in there, it just adds this complete vision that really helps the house sell a lot quicker. Next reason is listed in a certain price point. Now, I'm not talking about prices in the sense of being overpriced. This is going to be completely different. But what I'm saying is the price point in which your house is listed can be directly correlated with how many buyers can actually afford that price point. So obviously, if you're priced in the $600,000 to $900,000 range, this is going to be a lot more affordable, especially for people here in San Diego, and you're just going to have a bigger pool of buyers. Now, that price range is where I'm seeing constant multiple bids right now. As long as people are priced right and they're doing a lot of the other things we talked about, then these homes they're still flying off the shelf for the most part. But as you start to get to that million to 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 million range, that's where you're going to see it slow down a little bit because obviously you have less people that can afford it. Now, once you get to 2 million, right now I'm seeing right to 1.8 to 2 million plus. This is where you're seeing stuff slow down a lot, and this is totally fine because it does take a little bit longer to source a buyer at this point because it's more expensive. So homes are going to sit a little bit longer on the market when they're priced higher like this, but when you're in those lower price points, let's say right around $1 million, which is still very expensive here in San Diego, unfortunately, $1 million barely gets you a detached home nowadays. So it's very, very competitive in this price range. So that's where you're going to see homes really selling a lot quicker than a lot of the other price ranges. I'm always curious to hear what you guys think about. These are just my personal opinion on why things are starting to slow down, why some homes are not selling, but why do you think? I always love to hear that. And if you guys have any questions or need help with your real estate goals, make sure you guys are reaching out. All of our information is right there down below. And I have a couple other videos right here that'll probably be extremely helpful as well. I'll see you there.